circles. We'll give it a second. There it goes. Okay. So right as the lawnmower goes past, if you can hear it. So we finished up that performance task that we've been working on. That it was the writing the narrative. If you're not done with that, we're not going to give any more class time to work on it. So make sure you go and finish that up on your own. If you need any help or anything with it, come to the Google Meets, stay after class, and I can help you out with any part of it if you need it. But that's something that's going to go in your grade. So make sure you finish that up and get it turned in. I'm going to start grading them today. So finish that. We're going to move on to some small group things. I don't think we're going to get to them this week. I think the next story we do, we're going to do as the whole group that we've been doing right now, like we have been. And then starting on Monday, once I figure out scheduling and how to get small groups going, we'll do like smaller Google Meet sessions where it'll be like half of you guys and half of you guys working on the story, so that it's just smaller groups and we're not all on the same call. And we'll do that until the end of the quarter. So until we go to fall break, and then when we get back, Charlie, I've asked you already, please do not put things in the chat that could take people to another meet during my live lessons, please. But we're going to do some small group stuff, hopefully starting on Monday. We'll do it for the next 2 weeks after that, but we're going to finish out this week as like the whole class until I figure out how to do the small group. It's going to be different on Google Meets than just pulling you guys to the back table to work with small groups. But we're going to do a little introduction to small groups. We're going to watch a video, kind of like, do you remember at the very beginning we did like a whole group strategy thing where we talked about like how to do good listening and all of those things? It's essentially the same thing, just with small groups. So I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to go to Google Classroom. You guys all have this assignment. We're going to do it together. None of it's going to be on your own, so as long as you follow along today, your ELA stuff will be done. So in Google Classroom, under ELA, English Language Arts, we have a small group strategies assignment. It's on Savvis, so we're going to go ahead and open that up into a new tab. Hopefully it loads for you guys and me. I have issues with it now too, apparently. So we're going to let it take us there and get that opened up. I'd still win. All right, so I'm going to open up the it's called one small group learning strategies. There we go. There's not a whole lot for us to do today. We're just going to talk about some things that you can do to make sure that when you're in a small group, it's working for you. Maybe some roles that people can switch off doing in small groups. We're going to talk about the schedule of the couple of stories we're going to read and when those are due, so you have a timeline of the next few weeks as well, so that you don't fall too far behind on things. Grades are due pretty soon. I want to say that, no, now I don't remember. It's either the 25th or it's October 2nd. I don't know which Friday, but it's coming up, and making sure you're staying on top of your assignments is going to be a big thing. So once you are there, just go ahead and type down in the chat so I know, and we are ready to keep going. So we're just opening that small group learning strategies assignment. The watch keeps going off like I have a notification, but I don't. Okay, cool. Some of you guys are getting there. And we'll take about 1 more minute, get logged into this. We're gonna start with a video, just so you know. So if it's still not loading for you, at least it'll hopefully be loading during the video. Hopefully. Opening up that small group learning strategies assignment onto Sabbath, and then we will get going. There's a video. I'll play it on my end. It's underneath this stuff. The only stuff on the right over here is just this video. All the stuff we're going to fill out today is in like the scroll down part of it, that like just like it has been with the writing assignment. So we're just going to fill out different sections as we go. We might skip a couple, but that's fine. We're going to start with the whatchamacallit, video. And if it's still loading, maybe reload it. Hopefully it loads while we watch the video. I don't know how long the video is. It's a 5-minute video, so hopefully your website loads during that time. So if it's not loading, just leave it to load. Come look at the Google Meet so that we can watch this working in groups video. Alrighty. I think my sound is up pretty good. Make sure you guys are muted so that it doesn't kind of like bounce back and forth with the sound. And here we go. Turn on the captions.
What I would like you to do today is to work together to discuss ideas from those stories to come to one theme statement.
My name is Marco, and I'm in 8th grade, and I go to Unity Junior High, Cicero, Illinois.
So you think the message is everybody can be a pastor?
Do, and I don't like working in a group because I work well independently, but when I work with other people, it's interesting to get their own personal opinion on the subject that we're learning about. I think like less choices can like help you to make up your mind more easily.
It's connect back to the electric model.
Because we're all thinking about the same subject, our opinions sort of just fit in. So if I have one and someone else has a different one, then we'll find a way to connect them together.
Well, milestone for growing up would be accepting that we're going to have bad days and we're going to have good days. My name is Aurora. I'm in 8th grade and I go to Unity Junior High in Cicero, Illinois.
She understands that she wasn't being herself.
Well, she didn't like ROTC. People did bring different strengths to the group because some might be really shy, but they're actually really good at looking really deep into the text and finding out what some things really mean, and other people were really good at speaking for the group.
So, what did you guys think stood out?
When we first started doing small group learning, I felt kind of like out of my comfort zone, but eventually it's because I know those other kids, I warmed up to it. It's like the pressure of not knowing like what your future is and like overdoing it, like planning on what you want your future to be. Like that's what everyone goes through. It's like it's hard to make up your mind on like what you want to do when you grow up.
Yeah, and I think she was trying to do too much because joining on those groups, like eventually you're gonna find something like, but you're trying too hard to find it.
The downside is sometimes we can't respectfully like disagree or like come in at some times without interrupting.
It's like she's telling herself to be herself, and she's telling herself to be someone else to fit in. But how did she let it mold herself? How did she let it change herself? If someone had a different opinion, they would go to the text and find the quote where they built off that opinion, and then they would try to find a way to balance them. And if they didn't, we would call the teacher.
Marco just said both of them wanted a brighter future. Okay, so what would the milestone be there?
If I don't get what someone else is saying, our teacher will just come in and she'll make someone repeat their statement. So then she'll help us to better understand it.
What did both of them do?
They overdid it.
That would be one place to start. Okay?
When someone was building up to someone else's statement, that worked really well, I think, because what most of us were saying really matched to the text and it really connected. These two stories are reaching out to different audiences because the Electric Boogaloo, he's a guy, obviously, and he's since the tone of his letter is more humorous, I'm guessing he's trying to reach out to a male audience, and she is talking more about girl drama and like physical appearance and how it's gonna get better and how you will struggle to find yourself. That's more of a problem that girls go through.
And he didn't give up when he, failed. So if both of them are not giving up, I really like what Aurora brought up about the audience, right? They are technically writing a letter to themselves.
I think I worked okay in the group. I tend to be more shy, but I think I did okay because I tried to talk and I did, but I also try to give other people chances to talk.
So who do you think the author's actual audience was? Think about that to help you think of the milestone.
The best thing that I learned about working in small group is just how everyone thinks of something differently, but once you put all their thoughts together, it comes into one big idea that sort of just fits.
The milestone could just be finding yourself.
Everyone in the group sort of came to one understanding, like we got to connect with each other and the story at the same time.
Alrighty. So that basically sums up how the small group learning is going to go. We'll do things in smaller groups. It's a lot easier in person. So when we get in person, we'll attempt to do them with our social distance. Oh, we'll figure that out when we get there. But for now, we're going to probably do separate Google Meets. So we'll give you different codes to go to different Google Meets and work with different teachers and stuff like that. I think Ms. Dauphiné is going to come in and help. Mr. Turner will probably run a few groups, and then I'll run a few groups too. So it'll just depend, and we'll switch off and all of that stuff. But that's kind of what's coming up. We're going to talk about the stories in smaller groups so that it's more comfortable. So we're not all on the big one Google Meet, and if you don't want to talk out on the one, then maybe on the smaller one you'll feel more comfortable. You can bounce ideas off of each other about the stories you read and all of that stuff. So that's kind of the idea of our small group learning. So if we go back to our Savvis Realize, we're going to talk about some different strategies. We have an action plan here, talking about working as a team. There's some different things. So we're going to start with this action plan and read the first part. You guys can be skipping in between the Google Meet to see my screen and then yours as well. You are going to turn this in when we're done today, so that I know that you are following along and understanding the small group stuff. So you want to make sure that you are filling it out as we go. So it says, I'm going to hide this up here. Small group learning strategies. Throughout your life, in school, in your community, and in your career, you will continue to learn and work with others. And as much as people think that this stuff isn't true, that you're not going to be working with people, it's not. No matter what kind of thing that you do in your life, whether it's like at school, you're going to be made to work with each other. In your community, you could join some sort of group and end up working together. Maybe something happens in your community, you need to join together to fight against something like that. Or in your career, pretty much any job that you have is going to require you to work with someone else at some point. Maybe not all the time, but at some point. As a teacher, I work with the other 6th grade teachers almost every day on something. So the ability to work together in these small groups is a super important thing that you're going to need throughout your life. So we're just going to talk about a few strategies that are going to help you do that to the best of your ability. So filling out this chart, it says, look at these strategies and the actions that you can take to practice them as you work in teams. Add ideas of your own for each step, and then use these strategies during small group learning. So our first strategy is to prepare. And that means that you're going to complete your assignments so that you're prepared to do the group work. Organize your thinking so that you can contribute to your group's discussions. And then we need to come up with one more thing. What does it mean? This is where you guys are going to come into. What does it mean to be prepared to work as a group? What do you need to be prepared for? What do you guys think? Any ideas? what kind of things could you prepare before you go to your group work?
You could prepare like by getting ready for it, by
Yeah.
getting like papers.
So make sure you have all your materials.
Yeah. Get your
And-
laptop charged. That way it doesn't die. And you can
Yeah, for virtual learning, definitely. Make sure your laptop is charged so it doesn't die. So make sure you have all your materials ready to go. That's a pretty important one. Besides just having your work done and going into your small group with like the story read in this case usually, or maybe there's an assignment I give to you before you go to work with a group, having those things done, but also making sure you bring a pencil or your laptop or the worksheet, little things like that. You got to be prepared for that stuff. You can't walk over to your small group and be like, oh, hey, that's the worksheet I need. I'm going to go walk away again and get it. Oh, wait, I need a pencil too. I'm going to go walk away again. And then you're not participating in your group at all. So making sure that you have all your materials ready to go. You can go ahead and type that in. I'll give you about a minute, and then we'll talk about our second strategy. Or does anybody else have any other ideas for preparing as well that we could add? Okay, I'll let you guys type that one out. Alrighty. If you're not done, that's okay. I'm not going to scroll down too far. You can still see that bullet point. Let's talk about our next strategy. This one is participating fully, which means being present in the moment. You're going to be like making eye contact with people to make sure that they know that you're listening and actually listening to what's being said. If you aren't very comfortable with eye contact, or right now we're in virtual learning, maybe instead of especially right now with virtual learning, instead of eye contact, maybe you just turn on your video so that we know that you're there. That's kind of a big one. It's one of the things that I struggle with right now as your guys' teacher. It's hard for me to know. So if I'm on this screen, right, on my Google Meet, it's hard for me to actually know that you guys are behind the screen, which I don't require you guys to turn it on. I'm not going to make you do it right now either. But for the most part, I can't tell that you're there. So I just assume that you guys are listening and all of that stuff. So if we're in small groups, it might be better to have your camera on so that we know that you're there, and things like that. Or you participate by actually giving your opinion and things like that. But just being present in the group and giving your ideas is kind of a big deal with participating. And then this is kind of a big one, using text evidence when you're making a point. So going back to the text or whatever story we've read, and when you're giving your opinion, supporting it with some sort of example from the text to show that you are understanding what we're reading and you have an opinion about what we're reading too. So that's kind of a big one. What else can we write about participating fully? I kind of said a few things too that we could use as well.
Giving ideas.
Giving your ideas. I'm going to say stating your opinion. No, we'll just say giving ideas. I like that. Giving your ideas. Anything else that you could do to make sure that we all know you're participating fully?
giving opinions.
So ideas and opinions are going to be similar.
What about asking questions?
Okay, that's a good one.
Or like in the chat and stuff.
Okay, asking questions in the chat. So questions in general. So like if maybe your camera doesn't turn on, but you're participating with the mic on maybe, or you're asking questions in the chat, things like that, just so that we know you're there is a good one. What else could we do to show that we're participating in the group?
Write the notes down.
Good. Make sure you're finishing the assignments I give, because typically if we go into a small group session, there's something that I'm going to ask you guys to complete during that session, like whether it's like finishing a worksheet together, coming up with a story on your own. I don't know. I'm just making things up on the fly, but things like that. I'm going to ask you to do some sort of assignment usually, so making sure you finish the assignments together is a big one. Finish the assignment given. Any other ideas?
And to not wait for someone to speak up for a question, and instead of waiting for someone else to do it, maybe you should do it.
Okay, so John, how can we write that?
You could write, instead of having someone else answer it, you could answer it.
Yeah, so not always waiting for other people to do the problems. Oops. Not always waiting for other people to answer the questions. Giving your ideas as well. It's a good one. Any other ones? Or should I give you guys a little bit of time to type that one out?
I can't think of any more.
All right. That's fine.
My idea was already said.
Yeah. I figured that a lot of you guys would kind of have the same ideas. There's not too many. And there's a couple more things down here that we're going to fill out that we'll kind of go with the other ones too. But there's those first two for you to fill out. I'll give you a minute or so. About one more minute and then we'll look at the next one.
Feels good sitting in the sun right here.
Yeah, it looks nice where you are. I'm kind of jealous that I don't get to sit outside. I guess I could sit outside and do this, couldn't I? I'll consider it. I don't think I
I
can do
think you tried.
Although I'm under a big tree.
Yeah. I could probably do ELA outside since all of it is online and we're not like writing on paper or anything. So maybe we'll read stories outside.
We drove by the school yesterday and I saw Miss Mills outside.
Yeah?
She was tossing a softball to someone else.
Oh yeah, she like coaches someone in softball. I don't remember who though. All right, let's go ahead and look at our next one, supporting others. So the next box, I'm gonna scroll down a little bit so you can still see the other one. So our next one, to support others. So the people that are in your group, when they give their ideas, you can build on their idea. So someone says something and you're like, oh yeah, based on that, let's also talk about this one. So you can just go from one idea to the next, building on each other's ideas or opinions. You're also going to want to invite others who have not spoken to speak, to help them participate fully as well. Some people are more shy than others. They may not speak as much as other people, which is totally fine, but just at least trying to get everybody to give their ideas and supporting those people. what's some other things that we can talk about with supporting other people in these small groups?
You could maybe tell them an idea.
How so? What do you mean?
Like, if someone like whispers to you that they have an idea, you could tell them to tell it to everyone because everybody else might like that idea.
Okay, so if maybe they tell, yeah, okay, I get what you mean. Encourage, how do I want to say that?
Encourage other people's ideas.
Okay, I like that. Encourage others' ideas.
Or encourage others to share their ideas.
Okay, other ideas and to share them. Okay. What about that? What about if someone gives their idea and you don't like their idea? What should we do then? How should we approach that?
We could say that we could try changing up the idea because it's somewhat good, just not exactly what you're looking for.
Or
Okay,
say
so
your idea.
yeah, so are we gonna judge them based on their idea? Are we gonna be mean about it? Or
No,
You could just
No.
say your opinion or your idea that you had.
okay, so we're not gonna judge people. I'm not judge people's ideas and use all ideas to come together to form one idea. Because you don't want to just be like, no, I don't like your idea, and exclude that person altogether. That's not how you work in a small group. You can't just like brush someone to the side because you don't like their idea. Everybody has different ideas, and you can use all of them to come together to create the one idea that we're looking for in whatever assignment we're working on. But we're not going to make fun of someone for what they say or what they think about the story. We all have our different opinions on things, and we're not going to judge people for that. Okay? Small groups tend to be more of like a comfort zone for people. They feel more comfortable in the small group.
Miss Jones, can I log back off and log back in? Why things not working now?
Mhm.
The sound.
Okay. I don't know if you can see me, but yeah, Charlie, you can say your idea. Sorry, I wasn't on the chat. What's your idea?
Okay, now it's working.
It is working?
Yeah.
Good. I think he's typing it to me. Not sure though. Now we'll do about 1 more minute and then we'll move on to the clarifying one. Charlie, can you hear us? Thank you, Mr. Turner.
Yeah. just that sometimes it like kind of logs me out, and then I can't hear you for a little bit, and then it logs me back in so I can hear you.
Okay, so you can hear us right now? You're good?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have an idea for supporting others? What's your idea?
Well, I kind of have a treehouse in my front yard, but it's not like finished, and it was there before we moved here. And I was thinking of like we could finish it and then like go.
We lost him.
Miss Jones, did he freeze?
I think so. We'll give it a second.
It's called the freeze game. Like your computer freezes.
I think he was playing freeze tag and someone got him. He actually freezed.
Okay.
Or he's shocked.
Yeah, hopefully that. Charlie, still there? Oh, he's moving again. Okay, you froze, so we don't know what you said. You gotta finish your thought. You were talking about your treehouse.
And I was thinking that we should go around the city putting down signs, and that like ages 10 through 12 can join.
Like a group chat or something?
Well, they should bring masks.
Okay. Sounds good. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and work on our final box right here, clarify. Clarifying means to just make it, to help make other people understand. So if I were to clarify someone's idea, I would, in this bullet point, paraphrase it so that others understand and know what you're trying to say. Another way to help clarify things and make it more clear is to ask questions. So if someone says something and you're kind of like, I don't really know exactly what you're saying, maybe ask questions to help figure out what they mean. You're just clarifying their ideas. So what other things could we do to help clarify in a small group?
Maybe ask like what it means, what they
Yeah,
mean.
so asking those questions.
Repeat their statement.
Yeah,
Listen to them.
and listen closely. Ask them to repeat it. What about if it's still not very clear? What's something that you could do if you're, let's say you're only working as the group of students?
You
What
can
could
ask
you
the
do?
teacher.
Yeah, you could ask the teacher. Ask the teacher to help. Teacher. Any other ideas of what we could do? All right, I'm gonna give you a minute to fill that one out. And then we're gonna work on the working as a team part. All right, I'm just gonna scroll down and you can still see it, but I'm gonna start looking at talking about the next part. So working as a team, it's just kind of a list of things that you should do as you work together. First one, take a position. So in your group, we don't have groups yet. I think we're actually going to skip this one because we don't have groups at this point. But you would talk about some ideas or experiences about growing up. Can young people share with one another? So different things that you could share. But we're probably just going to skip this one. There's not even a place to type anything out. And we don't have groups. So we're going to skip number 1. Woo, less to do. Number 2, we have listing rules as a group. This one we can do because we are as a group technically right now, and we can just list some rules in terms of when you're working as a group, how group work should go. So it says, decide on the rules that you will follow as you work together. So 2 examples are provided. Add 2 more of your own. And we can always update the rules if we need to. So in that notebook section, the 2 examples that are listed are, number 1, everyone should participate in the group discussions. Number 2, people should not interrupt. What else could we write about or have as a rule when we're in group work? And you can think about the chart we just filled out too. What are some things we could do?
Turn your cameras on if you can.
Okay, so in virtual learning, oops, why did it do that? Let's not do that. In virtual learning, try to have your cameras on. Okay, what else could we do in terms of just some basic rules of group work?
Follow along.
Yep, follow along with what's happening. Follow along with the group. I know it only said 2, but I feel like we could come up with a couple more. We have that people shouldn't interrupt, which is a good one. You don't want to just cut everybody off. It's kind of rude.
Try to talk with one person at a time.
Okay, so that's kind of the non-interrupting one. So we're gonna leave that as not interrupting. But what kind of trying to guide you guys in the direction of where I want right now, without giving it to you. What kind of things could you do that I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just gonna say it. We're gonna be respectful of everybody, basically. I don't know where I was trying to get that, but so we're gonna be respectful of everyone and their opinions. That's just kind of a big one for me in the classroom in general, whether we're online or in person. Just being respectful of everybody is a big thing, no matter what their opinion is or how they live their life or anything like that. We respect the people in our class and outside of our class. So that's a big one too. But just in general, we're respectful people. We're going to respect people's opinions when we're talking about these things. Because sometimes you guys might not agree on things. And then you have to figure out, especially as you get older, when you don't agree with someone, instead of just arguing and getting into a fight, learning how to have discussions. So that's why we do small group, where you might argue about things, but you learn how to do it respectfully. Woo! Yay! Go ahead and write that one down.
Is Charlie frozen?
It's possible. It seems his internet connection is not working very well today. It happens. It's all right. Okay. Give you about 1 more minute to type out those 3. I think my watch is broken. It keeps buzzing with the same notification over and over and over and over. Ugh. All right. So as always, I'm going to post this video, so if you missed it, you can go back and just look at the sections you need. For number 3 here, apply the rules. We're actually going to skip because we aren't in a group right now. We aren't going to have a discussion and try the rules. When we get there, hopefully on Monday, then we will probably discuss the rules again really quick, just so that we're aware and remember the rules that we came up with. So we're going to skip number 3. We're also going to skip number 4 because, again, we're not in groups, so we can't name our group. When we get into like in-person or these virtual ones, maybe the first thing we'll do when we get into our groups on Monday is name the group you're in, so that that'll be the code to get into the Google Meet every time. So you're always entering pineapple. I don't know if that's what you decide to name your group. Like that'll be your code to get into your small group for ELA. Something like that. But we're going to skip number 4 too. What's up? I heard someone talk. You good?
I called my truck.
Ah. And then again, we're going to skip number 5 because we're not in a group yet. Yay. Yeah, we're just not there yet. We'll probably talk about these more eventually, but not yet. So we're actually going to skip all the way down to making a schedule. This one, you're going to just kind of have to copy what I write, because these are the 4 stories we're going to read in the next 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. And we're going to write down the activities you're going to do with all of these, as well as the date that they're due, because they're due on different dates. So we're going to start this one tomorrow, Declaration of the Rights of the Child. And we're going to do all activities that are included in it. Oops, spell it right. And the test. So for all of these, we're going to, wow, why is it so light? Don't like that. That's all right. So when we work on these, if you think about Brown Girl Dreaming and Calvin and Hobbes, on the right side, there was always activities to be doing on the right. We're essentially going to go through all of those, not as much. It's still in depth, but it's not as much each time. So we're going to do all those activities on the right, and then at the end,
Put the due date in.
yeah, we will. So we'll do all of those activities when they're there. All these drop-down menus. There's not one for this one, but if you think about Brown Girl Dreaming, there was all kinds of activities. So we're going to do that for each of these stories. And then at the end of the stories, when we finish all of the drop-down menus, we'll have a separate assignment that's a test that's going to basically go over the story like Brown Girl Dreaming did. And you guys actually did pretty good on that Brown Girl Dreaming test. I was pretty impressed with that. So that's kind of the main thing for all of these. So if you want to highlight it and copy and paste it, so you right-click, copy, paste, paste, paste. We're doing the same thing for all of them, all of the activities and the test. That will happen for all of them. If you want to just type it out, it's totally fine. Okay, the due date for the Declaration of the Rights of the Child is Friday, September. Spell it right. September 18th. That is when that one's due. So that's this Friday. We're going to start it tomorrow, work on it for 2.5 days. You'll take the test after we finish the 2.5 days, and it'll be due on Friday. The Michaela DePrince, the war orphan who became a ballerina. Again, we're going to do all the activities in the test that follows, and that one will be due on Wednesday, September.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, September 23rd. Okay, so that's the following Wednesday. We'll spend 3 days on that one, take the test. For Bad Boy, again, all activities and do the test. That one's going to be due Friday, September 25th. That one's only a 2-day one. We'll only work on that one for 2 days and then take the test. And then our final one, I was skinny tomboy kid. Again, all activities and the test, and that one is going to be due Wednesday, September 30th. And this September 30th one is the week before fall break, right? So that's the Wednesday before fall break. That Thursday and Friday of fall break is basically going to be working days where if you did not finish these, you're going to be finishing them. Because even if grades are due on the 25th and we're still working on stuff after the 25th, like I was a skinny tomboy kid, that's after September 25th. If it was after the day the grades are due, I'm just going to put it on next quarter's grades. So no matter what, all of this stuff that we're doing is graded. So if you don't finish it, it just rolls over into next quarter, and then you start off the quarter not doing so hot. So keeping up with these as we go is probably a good idea. Just saying. Just throwing it out there, you know, for you guys. Okay, I'll give you a minute to type this all out. If you want to, like, I don't know, most of you guys have a phone. If you guys want to, like, take a picture of the screen so that when you turn it in, you just have it with you and you know, hey, these are the due dates for those. Or if you want to write them down on a piece of paper, or you have a planner. I have a planner for when everything is due, so you can write it all down there.
I have a Diamondbacks calendar.
You have a what calendar?
An Arizona Diamondbacks calendar.
Yeah, there you go. So you could always on there just write due dates for things. I don't know. I have this planner. I don't know if you guys can see it. This is my planner. I write things down every day, cross them off as I do them. It's how I keep my life organized, or else I would be a mess.
Miss Jones, sometimes when I have to go back to the watch the video, the first time I had to do that, I hit the subscribe button on the on the thing for when you have to go back and watch the videos.
So you're subscribed to my YouTube
Nice
channel?
rooster.
Yeah,
I subscribe to.
That's good.
I subscribe.
My goal by the end of this year is to have 80,000 subscribers. No, I'm just kidding. It's not gonna happen.
Miss Jones, the popular teacher of YouTube.
Yep. I will be the YouTube teacher.
I also subscribe to my cousins. They do a little they do a little cooking show. They're like 5 and 3, and they just do a little cooking show.
That sounds fun.
And then my teacher from 4th grade, she has a YouTube channel too.
Mm.
And I also
That's
subscribe
good.
to Dude Perfect.
I've heard of them. They're pretty cool. All right. I'm gonna leave this one up because when I look ahead to this part, working on group projects, we're not gonna finish this section just because we're not there. We're not in groups yet. We can't talk about the different roles that you'll do. So I'm gonna leave this up so you can finish typing it out. But other than that, we don't have
So I can turn it in.
Yeah, we don't have another ELA assignment for today. It was just finishing up this small groups activity stuff. So if you've finished with the scheduling and you have everything else typed in, you can turn that in so I can check that you are following along. And then we have math at 10:30.
I just finished turning it in.
Good. If you have not finished your narrative, those of you that are on here and have never finished your narrative, go finish that too. That's your other assignment if you have not. But other than that, you're all good until we get to whatever it's called, math.